be respectful, to be patient, and to communicate well, and also not to be distracted.
Horsey 100 organizers are making some safety changes to the annual bike ride this weekend.
A group is trying to find a new spot to launch Lexington's fireworks show from this summer.
A young deer is on the road to recovery tonight.
He was still trying to, kind of try to pull himself through.
How a Central Kentucky store owner managed to save the buck.
This is WKYT News at 5:30.
They are urging drivers to share the road. This weekend, thousands of cyclists will be riding through Central Kentucky for the annual Horsey 100.
Good evening. The 39th Horsey 100 will take place this weekend. Last year, the event turned tragic after a driver hit and killed a cyclist. This year, organizers and police are taking more steps to make sure the ride goes smoothly. Hillary Thornton takes a look at the new safety preparations in our top story at 5:30.
2,500 cyclists expected Saturday alone for the 39th Horsey 100. Last year, tragically, the event dealing with their first fatality after cyclist Mark Hinkle was hit along the route. Police say the driver was drunk behind the wheel.
There really isn't a lot we could have done to prevent what happened last year, but as a result of last year, we have been working a lot more closely with law enforcement.
The ride spanning 5 counties, organizers working with agencies in each with multiple departments agreeing to cross into various jurisdictions, all working together, increasing their role in the ride.
We will have more officers out on the course at busy intersections and also patrolling the routes.
Also making sure drivers are aware, clearly marking the routes, something they do each year. However, additionally, this year they are utilizing a new tool, several large electronic signs.
One of those electronic signs can be seen here behind me along South Broadway in Georgetown. It's all in an effort to make folks aware that there will be thousands of cyclists out on the roadways this weekend.
Biggest advice I can give everybody, cyclists and drivers, is to be courteous, to be respectful, to be patient, and to communicate well, and also not to be distracted.
This weekend, a tough reminder for Hinkle's friends and family, a community also dealing with the recent loss of another cyclist, Dr. David Cassidy, killed in an accident in Bourbon County.
They both loved cycling and we love cycling, so one way to view it is it's sort of a celebration of their lives and what they loved.
In Georgetown, Hillary Thornton, WKYT.
And cyclists will wear a patch on their jerseys remembering Hinkle during this weekend's ride. We have an update tonight on the 3 members of a Lexington family involved in a deadly crash in Texas over the weekend. Israel Avalar and his 3 sons, Kevin, Daniel, and Matthew, died in the weekend crash. His wife, Hilda, his daughter, Kimberly, and mother, Sarah, survived. 21-year-old Vivian Avalar was not with her family when the crash happened. She is with her family now, though, in Texas. She tells us Kimberly is off a ventilator today and is improving. Hilda is now stable, and they hope she will be out of the ICU the next couple of days. Sarah is scheduled to have surgery on her ankle and toes.
New tonight, police in Louisville have released sketches of 2 teenage boys found dead behind an abandoned home. Police say the boys' bodies were found Sunday afternoon by a young girl riding her bicycle. Police say that both teenagers are biracial or Hispanic. One of the boys is 5 feet 9 inches tall, weighs about 145 to 160 pounds. He was wearing a red Wisconsin polo shirt and black cargo pants. The second teenager is described as being 5'6", about 135 to 145 pounds. He was last seen wearing black athletic pants with red stripes down each side. The coroner has not yet released the manner of their death.
A court date is now set for a Southern Kentucky man accused of shooting his neighbor. Our county-by-county coverage at 5:30 begins in Pulaski County. Dwayne Peters will be arraigned in district court tomorrow morning. He surrendered to police last night. Deputies say he went on the run after shooting Harlan Richardson Sunday night. Peters is charged with assault, evidence tampering, and possession of a handgun by a convicted felon. Richardson is in fair condition at UK Hospital. And in Laurel County, police are investigating what caused an asphalt truck to flip. London police say the truck overturned on the Hal Rogers Parkway this morning, spilling asphalt all over the road. Part of that road was closed while crews cleaned it up. That road is open tonight.
Can you believe it? The 4th of July, a little more than a month away, and the Downtown Lexington Corporation is scrambling to find a new spot to launch the city's fireworks show from. For years, the fireworks show has been launched from property owned by the R.J. Corman Company on Main Street. But the company doesn't want that site to be used this year. Sean Moody takes a look at the other options the city's looking at.
Organizers say they're looking into alternate locations. They've got about 10 in mind, and one of them is here at the University of Kentucky Arboretum. They say one of the criteria is that they have to have a 600-foot clearance zone around those fireworks.
For several years, the city's fireworks have been launched from the R.J. Corman site behind Rupp Arena. According to the Lexington Herald Leader, the company would not allow their property to be used this year, so the Downtown Lexington Corporation is working to find a new spot. The DLC president said there will still be a show. It's just a question of where. She told the Herald Leader they're looking at about 10 alternate sites, including the UK Arboretum on the southern end of campus. Some in the neighborhood nearby said they weren't wild about the idea of a big fireworks show right there, but others said they'd be happy to see them move there.
I think it'd be a fun family event. You'll have a lot of people out doing the same thing that we do, and I think it'd be nice to see them up close.
And one of the other factors organizers are looking at is the ability to handle large volumes of traffic. Commonwealth Stadium is right across the road, and they get thousands of people there for games, so organizers say the Arboretum shouldn't be a problem. In Lexington, Sean Moody, WKYT.
The DLC president said another option is to reduce the size of the fireworks show to fit a smaller location. We did put a call into the R.J. Corman Company to ask why the location cannot be used this year. They have not returned the call.
The unofficial start of summer is just days away, but we're getting a little taste of it already. Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey is tracking some warm and muggy weather that's settling in for us.
Yeah, really coming in over the next couple of days. Short term, it's still very nice out there across central and eastern Kentucky right now. Humidity levels are down. Can't say that, though, going into the rest of the week. And those temperatures right around the 80-degree mark into much of the area. Defender Radar Network with a mostly sunny sky, central and eastern Kentucky, no precipitation, though back to our west. The leading edge of that warmer, more humid air mass is cruising across parts of western Kentucky. Leading edge of that really showing some clouds now around the Bowling Green area. Look behind that, though. Heavy rains into parts of Missouri and Arkansas. A complex of thunderstorms like that is certainly possible around here at any given point over the next several days. Otherwise, it's going to be very warm and just kind of steamy out there. Typical of July. Hour by hour future radar. Notice how late tonight, tomorrow morning, we begin to see at least a couple of returns showing up with a juicy air mass rolling into town for Wednesday. Coming up here in less than 10 minutes, I'll show you how that sticks around through the big holiday weekend.
All right, we'll see you in just a bit. Thank you, Chris. A young deer is getting a second chance at life tonight. The Jessamine County business owner found a deer Monday stuck in an iron fence behind his shop. New at 5:30, Mike Linden shows us how they managed to save the deer. A warning, though, some of the photos of this rescue might be a bit graphic.
Monday morning started like another normal day at work for Stephen Tate at his antique shop in Jessamine County. That is until he heard a strange sound coming from a shed outside.
We just so happened to hear a noise back there, and that's what triggered us to look.
That's when Tate found a young deer stuck in an iron fence.
When we first saw him, he was still trying to, kind of try to pull himself through.
To help get the deer out, Tate called over nearby business owners. The only option to save it was to cut a portion of the fence, so that's what they did.
Here's the other bar we had to cut away with the hacksaw. Now you're talking about probably a year-old, 100-pound young buck stuck in this area right here.
Thanks to some help from volunteers at the Wolf Run Animal Sanctuary, Tate and the others were able to save the deer, but not the fence.
That's okay. We can replace the gate. It doesn't matter. We would have cut the whole thing down if we'd have had to.
While not a typical Monday for Tate, he says he's glad the way things ended up.
You know, anytime you can save a life like that, I think that's what we wanted to do.
In Jessamine County, Mike Linden, WKYT.
That is quite a story there. Officials at Wolf Run say the deer was treated and was able to be released back into the wild.
A great teacher can be a life changer for a young student. And tonight we have a good question about the 2016 Teacher of the Year. Devon emailed us, "Hello, I was just wondering about the results from the Teacher of the Year drawing." Well, Devon, more than 2,300 teachers were nominated for an award given by Morehead State University and WKYT. The winner, right there she is, Ashley Hensley of Whitley County High School. She was nominated by well-known Kentucky author Silas House. Now, in his nomination of her, Silas House wrote, "Time after time, her students tell me that they would not love to read if it wasn't for her. Her energy is tireless, and she gives her all to her students. She's the best of role models, someone who inspires her students to make something of themselves, to find what they love and pursue it, to be the change they wish to see in the world." End of quote. Beautifully written. Hensley wins a $1,000 Visa gift card and Silas House a $500 gift card. Both of them will be on our 1230 News on June 3rd. Congrats to Teacher of the Year, Ashley Hensley of Whitley County High School. To submit a good question, send an email to goodquestion@WKYT.com.
Still ahead on WKYT News at 5:30, how the state is using money from a drug addiction lawsuit to help others fight their own addiction.
I'm Bill Bryant. Bernie Sanders wants another check of the totals after his apparent loss to Hillary Clinton in Kentucky. A big crowd was at the NRA convention in Louisville, and new approval numbers for President Obama. The bottom line is ahead.
I'm Victor Puente in Clark County, where an assault suspect is now a murder suspect after the man he's charged with attacking died over the weekend. Coming up at 6, you'll hear from the victim's stepdaughter about why they believe that man shouldn't have been out of jail.
Have something that needs investigating? Email us or call the WKYT Investigates tip line.
I don't want to live with the uncertainties of Hep C.
Or wonder whether I should seek treatment. I am ready.
Because today, there's Harvoni, a revolutionary treatment for the most common type of chronic hepatitis C. Harvoni is proven to cure up to 99% of patients who've had no prior treatment. It transformed treatment as the first cure that's one pill once a day for 12 weeks. Certain patients can be cured with just 8 weeks of Harvoni. Harvoni is a simple treatment regimen that's been prescribed to more than 250,000 patients. Tell your doctor if you've had a liver transplant, other liver or kidney problems, HIV, or any other medical conditions, and about all the medicines you take, including herbal supplements. Taking amiodarone with Harvoni may cause a serious slowing of your heart rate. Common side effects of Harvoni may include tiredness, headache, and weakness. I am ready to put Hep C behind me.
I am ready to be cured.
Are you ready? Ask your Hep C specialist if Harvoni is right for you.
Thanks for coming today. I want each of you to grab a 2x8 and cut it. You'll have 2 saws to choose from. You all chose the best tool for the job. Wouldn't it make sense to make the same choice when it comes to your truck?
Absolutely.
This is the 2016 Chevy Silverado.
Nice.
A good-looking pickup.
Incredible.
I love it.
Find your tag and get a total value of $9,000 on this Silverado Double Cab All-Star. See your Kentucky Select Chevy dealers.
Paul, remember how Mommy used to wait a long time on hold with Time Warner Cable? Now, they call Mommy back when it's convenient for her. What did you just learn, Paul?
If Time Warner Cable can change, then so can I.
Now eat your vegetables.
Changing for good. Time Warner Cable.
This is how Precision listens. Bose microphones that hear engine noise, then counter it with the sound-canceling frequency, which helps make the cabin so quiet, you don't miss a thing.
Night, Dad.
Good night, kiddo.
It's called Active Noise Cancellation, and it's available in the new, meticulously crafted 2016 Sierra from GMC. This is the precision of professional grade.
Now get nearly $9,000 below MSRP on select 2016 Sierra 1500 models in stock. Visit your Bluegrass GMC dealer today.
The illegal taste of moonshine that's put a lot of people behind bars is now on a burger. With moonshine glaze on Black Angus beef. The Midnight Moonshine Thick Burger. Get a free Moonshine Mason Jar Cup with a large combo at Hardee's.
Can I get a soft pretzel with sausage, egg, and cheese?
I have no sausage.
No egg and no cheese. Sausage, egg, and cheese on a soft pretzel.
Ain't nobody got that, man.
We do. The Pretzel Breakfast Sandwich. With egg, sausage, American, and Swiss cheese on an Auntie Anne's soft pretzel. Only at Hardee's.
Keep up with the latest news on WKYT.com. Join the conversation on Twitter and become a part of the WKYT Facebook family.
Senator Bernie Sanders is asking for a recanvass in Kentucky's presidential primary.
And Kentucky State University is making some changes at the top. Bill Bryant has the details in the bottom line.
Good evening. The results of Kentucky's very close Democratic presidential primary will be rechecked. Bernie Sanders is requesting a recanvass, which involves rechecking the total statewide to look for any discrepancies or irregularities. The initial count shows Hillary Clinton defeating Sanders by less than 2,000 votes in Kentucky. That is less than 1/2% of the vote. The recanvass will be done before the Secretary of State certifies the vote. It turns out attendance at the National Rifle Association's meeting in Louisville over the weekend nearly broke a record. The Courier-Journal reports more than 80,000 people attended the Kentucky gathering, where presidential candidate Donald Trump was one of the main speakers. It is surpassed only by the 83,000 people who went to the 2013 meeting in Houston. As President Obama travels in Asia, there is some encouraging news for him back home in his last few months in office. An NBC Wall Street Journal poll finds his approval rating is at 51% nationwide. That's the highest since his second inauguration in 2013. Still, only 39% they would vote for Obama again if he were eligible for a third term. Kentucky State University putting its vice president for academic affairs in charge for now. Candace Jackson will be acting president until the Board of Regents appoints an interim president and begins a search for a long-term leader. It comes after Raymond Burse's sudden resignation this week, effective Friday. Bill Bryant, WKYT.
Several southern Kentucky drug treatment centers are getting a big boost to help fight drug addiction.
And one of those stops this morning was in Corbin. Attorney General Andy Beshear, State Senator Robert Stivers, and other lawmakers presented a check worth $450,000 to Independence House Recovery Center. That center provides substance abuse treatment for pregnant and postpartum women. The money came from a settlement in the Purdue Pharma case. Danielle Stansberry Matlock used the program. She's been sober for 11 years.
My son rode shotgun, if you will, with me, and he watched his father beat me. And his father's been in and out of prison, and my daughter's father's been in and out. And I took him last week to the airport. He's in the Army today. You know, he's serving for the military. He's not on drugs.
In all, 15 different recovery facilities and drug treatment centers around the state receive funding, including KVC Kentucky and Hazard and Kentucky River Community Center in Jackson.
Now, your hour-by-hour forecast with Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey.
Upper 70s to around 80 across many areas of the good old Bluegrass State out there today. Awesome weather for folks who are working outside, or maybe today was the first day of summer break for teachers and the kiddos in your area. Well, hang in there. If you're a fan of summer, we've got a forecast that is for you in the next couple of days. As a matter of fact, the next week and change likely to feature similar weather to the day before. Tomorrow really starts a soupy pattern in terms of the overall atmosphere. Right now, again, most areas right at 80 degrees. Check out this beautiful sky cam from Lexington. We're looking at Winchester Road out in front of WKYT. Blue skies, a little hint of some cirrus clouds coming at us, ice crystal clouds. Humidity is bone dry. That will really ramp up later tonight into tomorrow morning. And when you're up and at 'em early tomorrow morning at 4:30 with Micah, he's likely to be showing a couple of scattered showers and thunderstorms, courtesy of the mess to our west, into the Mississippi Valley now, far western Kentucky, some showers and storms. What's happening, we're starting to see that warm and humid air making some progress toward the east. The leading edge of that showing up well with that little bank of some clouds from Owensboro, Evansville, down toward Nashville and the Bowling Green area. That is introducing us into a pattern that will be much more conducive for a shower or thunderstorm. So your Defender radar network that is calm and clear now will have something for us to track each and every day for the next week. No, I'm not saying it's going to rain at your house each and every day for the next week. I'm saying the chance that we will see some scattered thunderstorms across our region is certainly going to be there. Let's focus on Lexington. As we go through the evening, those temperatures will be right around the low 60s. First thing tomorrow morning, as the rainfall starts to pop back in there, we'll see at least some scattered thunderstorms on and off throughout the day. Notice how this model says, at least with this run, it keeps a little shower and thundershower action around us tomorrow. I suspect we may see quite the temperature gradient setting up across our region. You get under some clouds or a shower or thunderstorm, you're going to be in the 70s for a while. You get outside of any shower or thunderstorm action really tomorrow or over the next week, mid and maybe an upper 80 will be possible. So one temperature never fits all, and anytime you're talking about sun versus at least scattered thunderstorms, that is going to be the case. Guys, that is your forecast right on through Memorial Day, and I think this holds into the first several days of June.
Well, then it will be sort of appropriate as we move into June, right?
So moral of the story over the next week, with the forecast being the same every stinking day, you're going to get tired of hearing me say the same thing every stinking day.
I feel like you're a little upset about it already.
Well, it's variety. Variety's a spice.
How do you really feel about it?
Yeah, right?
Thanks, Chris.
All right, guys.
Looks like we have a crash just pop up on Euclid at South Lime. That's an injury collision. Police are on the scene in that intersection right now. Interstate looks okay, and our drive time's not too bad on this beautiful day. Outbound to Nicholasville, still 12 to 15 minutes. Winchester looks good on 64. Now back to you in the studio.
Up next, we will take a look at how the Cats' non-conference schedule is shaping up, Rob.
Kansas officially added today, and once again, Cal's team will face a real challenge outside the SEC. And for Nyquist, New York is not the next stop. The latest on the Derby winner is next in sports. Stay with us.
They have parades, bullfighting. Hemingway described it as a furious energy.
2 days ago, the lawyer went missing shortly after his first bull run.
Concept's got an axe to grind regarding the mistreatment of the bulls.
He stalks them, tortures them, and kills them.
These attacks aren't about making a statement. Our killer is emulating the matador.
New Criminal Minds Beyond Borders at a special time, CBS Wednesday, or stream it live or on demand.
Cookies and ice cream meant to be together.
Yeah, I wish I could find who I was meant to be with.
What about that dating app? Have you gone out with any of these girls?
What do you think I am, desperate?
Well, you're on an app called I'm Desperate.
Oh, so I am.
Introducing Cookie Master Blasts. And get a free slush when you download the new Sonic app.
Here's a fun way to control your luck. It's a game called Keno. You can start with $1. You pick your numbers, your odds, and your wager. And the winnings, well, they could be major. Just pick your numbers and hope you win. A few minutes later, you can play it again. Now play Keno wherever Kentucky lottery games are sold.
Hi, we need a truck for our family.
Yeah, something that can keep up with us. Well, Tundra's perfect. Tows up to 10,000 pounds, so you can go boating, ATVing, or camping. Oh, that's fun. Maybe we made these scenes too realistic.
Choose from a great selection of Tacomas, just named Best Overall Value of the Year. Or get the full-size American-made Tundra and get 1.9 financing for 60 months.
You look like happy campers.
Toyota, let's go places.
What we do is not about sickness. It's about living. Because you were made to live, and live well. Let us show you how care is supposed to be. Lexington Clinic. Your doctors for life.
Any beverage connoisseur will tell you that real Kentucky bourbon has an excellent mouthfeel. Well, consider this, beverage connoisseur. What kind of mouth feelings would happen if Arby's made sauce with real Kentucky bourbon and put it on brown sugar bacon? How would your mouth feel about that? Your mouth feel pretty good? Arby's, we have the meats.
Thanks for testing our new car service today.
Of course.
Our service is a little bit different.
Okay.
Since we traveled 5.1 miles, and this car offers an EPA estimated 37 miles per gallon highway, your total is 31 cents.
What?
The all-new 2016 Chevy Malibu LT.
Current qualified GM lessees can get this all-new 2016 Chevy Malibu LT for around $199 a month, or find your tag and get $2,000 on this Chevy Malibu LT. See your Kentucky Select Chevy dealers.
If you have a business dispute, the consultation is free, and you don't pay us unless we're successful for you. Morgan & Morgan, for the people.
This new Sonic Lemonade's great, huh?
I can't believe they set that lemonade stand up right across the street.
Uh-oh, she saw me. You're a full-grown adult. Come on, man. Oh, boy. Okay, duck down. Start the car.
Introducing Iced to Frozen Ultimate Lemonades and get a free slush when you download the new Sonic app.
Visit our fireplace showroom or shop online at barnhillchimney.com.
It has been 10 years since Kansas and Kentucky have played in Rupp Arena. UK fans will remember the Jayhawks won that game. Today, the SEC announcing that the matchup in this coming season will be in the Big 12 SEC Challenge. Cats and the Jayhawks have played 6 times since that 2005 game. In January, Kentucky played arguably its best game of the season out in Lawrence, but lost in overtime. Over those 6 games, both teams have won 3 times. UK last beat Kansas in the Champions Classic in Indianapolis in 2014. So the date will be January 28th in Rupp. UK leads the overall series, dominating the Jayhawks 22-7. Kentucky's non-conference schedule now. It's loaded up for the coming season. The Cats and Michigan State play November 15th in the Champions Classic at Madison Square Garden. Then on November 28th, UK travels back to Atlantis in the Bahamas for a game against Arizona State. UCLA comes into town December 3rd. Then it's back to New York for a game with Hofstra December 11th at Nassau Coliseum. North Carolina and the Cats square off in Las Vegas December 17. UK will play its annual game against Louisville December 27th at the KFC Yum Center. And then Kansas in Rupp January the 28th. There will be no rematch between Derby winner Nyquist and Preakness champion Exaggerator. Trainer Doug O'Neill announcing this morning that Nyquist is out of the Belmont Stakes. A high white blood cell count will keep the 2-year-old champ in the barn for the June 11th race. Nyquist was running a slight temperature yesterday morning. It went down, but it was back up today. The results of the blood work came in. Ironically, the last 2 Kentucky Derby winners to miss the Belmont are Nyquist and I'll Have Another, both trained by Doug O'Neill.
In Nyquist's blood work came back this morning. There was a slightly elevated white count, and we took his temperature again, and that was slightly elevated. So I spoke to Doug, and Doug wants to do what's best with Nyquist and get him back 100% health-wise here at Pimlico and flying back to California. We're not sure exactly the day we'll do that, but Nyquist will tell us when he's ready, and the plan is to get him back to California, get him fit and healthy, and point for some fun during the summer at Saratoga with him.
In the next half hour, Decision Day arrives tomorrow for those who have gone into the NBA draft. That's at 6. Stay with us. We're right back after the break.